Hare Krishna, good. Okay. I told you before that it's such kind of a complex plot line that I was reading back. I think today I won't have to read back, but start a little bit back. So reading from the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, chapter 6, book 1, text 104. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vṛkṣādibhis antarite kadācid asmin sati syāt. Saha-cāriṇāṁ bhṛśam. Śrī Kṛṣṇa kṛṣṇeti mahā-pluta-svarair. āhvāna-bhaṅgyākulatā sa-rodanā. O virtuous lady, if trees or other obstacles block Krishna from sight, even briefly, his companions at once shed tears and call in anxious, drawn-out voices, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Just a little comment on this verse, then I'll go back, is that Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta rasa alayam, that the Bhagavatam is rasa. It's not just an intellectual experience, it's a tangible experience. It's something that we aswadane. Aswadane means we taste. Tasting has a very visceral, that's the right word, conception. So the Bhagavatam is rasa. The Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, who it's a summary, is rasa. And it means that it encapsulates a particular emotion of the story, but of this story of the spiritual world, of the story of bhakti ras, and expresses it in a way that you should also feel it. But sometimes it's a little bit indirect, like in the Bhagavatam calculation of time from the atom. But here it's very, the words, after a while, there's a joke that I tell in South America, but it's not funny. How many languages? What is a person called who speaks 2 languages? Bilingual. What's a person called who speaks 3 languages? Trilingual. What's a person who speaks many languages? Polyglot. What's a person who speaks 1 language called American? So you don't have those. It's such a disadvantage in that way that English is such a predominant language. Even when I went to India, basically the British were there, so you could speak English. So you never develop samskaras. And I see, young children. That's why it's recommended for education, because languages are so powerful and give you such access to different thoughts in different cultures, especially in Hindi and Sanskrit and Bengali, but also Spanish to communicate, French for philosophy and literature, Russian, Dostoevsky and Tolstoy. But when you grow up in a bilingual family, you not only learn in 2 languages, but you learn the samskaras. That's why it was so easy for Kadamba. He grew up in Europe. So he was Dutch, but it's not enough to have Dutch. You also have to know German, and it's near France. And, Advaita Prabhu, who grew up in England, and his father was English, his mother was French. He learned Italian, he learned English. Then his father was a diplomat. He moved to Palestine or Israel, and he learned Arabic. So when he came, it was easy to learn these languages. But what I do know from studying the Shastra is the vocabulary. And the vocabulary is just very Rasik. It's very moving, very, very moving. So these verses are just filled with really words that have so much meaning, and especially when it gets to here, where it's directly it's qualified people. It's the residents of Dwarka and the residents of Vrindavan that live in Dwarka, and Krishna, who is the ultimate Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, and Balaram, and Uddhava, who went there and saw them. It's their description of them. It's their description of the highest love to make us feel that love. And it's so enriched in these verses. And just this verse, and then I'll go back. Well, I'll go back. The commotion is outside Krishna's palace, that's we know. And it's over Narada's glorifying Uddhava as the topmost devotee, and him deflecting the praise and explaining what he experienced in Vrindavan. And of course, his objective, the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy. So then there's a contention about this, which will help us to understand in a very deep way what is mercy in terms of devotion and feelings for Krishna, and not just see things externally according to our own samskaras or previous experience or prejudice, and finally get to understand this and appreciate this. But the discussion between them, which Rohini brings up, if they're suffering, how can they be the topmost recipients of Krishna's mercy? So we have to understand what that suffering is and what that mercy is, and then the contentions between Satyabhama and Rukmini, not between them, but they're explaining Krishna's glories in Balaram, who saw their suffering. And this whole discussion goes on outside of Krishna's room, who in the story we understand is already somehow or other just meditating on the residents of Vrindavan and their suffering, and just feeling it so deeply. And then Krishna wakes up, and then just hearing that and hearing their suffering, he just begins to denigrate his heart, which is like diamond, and how they're suffering so much. And then he asks, what should I do? What should I do? And the discussion continues. And then Krishna asks, well, what should I give them? And this startles the residents of Dwarka, who feel now, what should I give them? And the obvious answer is what they want is Krishna. What they want is Krishna. So there's all this conversation that goes on from different angles, just explaining basically it's all explaining the love of Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, because how can they be suffering in his separation, so intensely suffering in separation, unless they have that love? So basically, in different ways, they're all glorifying the Bṛhad-bhāgavatās, but the only question is that love that they have in their heart is real mercy if it causes them suffering so much? And maybe someone in this world will feel that way, when they lose a loved one. Was it worth it? Better I never knew them. I don't think people ever come to that conclusion when it's love. So the question comes, and Devaki and others just are really now in anxiety. So their love for Krishna is coming out. Their anxiety is, well, what should I give them? He may leave. And Devaki immediately says, just give them whatever you want, and etc. And then Padmavati also, because it's her husband's kingdom, Ugrasena, she's also saying that. And then Padmavati says, what do they need Krishna back anyway? They just exploit him. They don't love Krishna. They just send them out into the forest, and basically, Krishna for them is just child labor. And now, Rohini says, no, they cannot be alive even for a moment. Even for a moment, they cannot be. They won't stay alive in Krishna's association. And in fact, that's known. The cowherd boys have told me how much anxiety they are when they see Krishna at a distance and he just passes by a tree, and for that moment is 12 years or more. So it's just somehow trying to give us something which we can rationally accept, that if there is God, his degree of love must be ever increasing to the highest degree, if that indeed is his pleasure. So it's trying to describe it to us, to, aspire for us. One person I've been, I don't know if this is relevant. I think it had some relevance. I'll tell you anyway. One person that there's people that accept me as their guru or teacher, but never came to the platform of practice. but still. And there's one person she's kind of a rock star, actually, like mantra rock star. She's from Russia, husband's Ukrainian, and they moved to India, and they're like the biggest band. So she saw my picture that's on that WhatsApp group, of me sitting in the garden in Dallas in 1974, just before I decided to join. I was 4 years, I had been coming to temples, but in those days, it's just in or out. There's no congregation. Prabhupada did not start in America congregational preaching. In India, he had congregational preaching. In America, he didn't have congregational preaching. Either it's because he had no confidence, none of his devotees came from a congregation, they couldn't stay in the world, they were hippies, but there wasn't even a conception that you could say. I don't know how anybody would be recommended for initiation unless they joined the temple. So it's either that or I had some other reason. Or Prabhupada was trying to take over the world in 10 years. He didn't know how much, he wanted to take over the world. And it was like Castro in Cuba. It was kind of a revolution. So he just, he was taking everybody in, men, women, everybody in, join the revolution. Something like that. But she saw the picture and she saw me, looked like an intelligent, respectable person with my mustache. She said, how did someone like you join? And the answer is Brahmanda Brahmate Konya Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Pasadi Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. You get the Bhakti Lata Bij. And that's the seed of devotion. It's the conception of the highest truth, but more than that, it's the experience of the highest truth. And then from that, Sarvasya Chahamini Sunny Vishto Matasmitir Gyanam Apona. Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, and from him comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. I had no choice. He made me forget what I should, remember what I should, forget what I should, remember what I should. Because I don't think if I look back now at that particular time with my intelligence, what I know, I don't know if I would have just hopped off into any temple like I did. I would have to really analyze it. And certainly I would probably try to find a space that was away from any management or any connection with any management, under any management or connection for any management, unless I found a particular place where, but I guess the point is that taste of the spiritual world. And they have that taste in full. Even what we get is called namabas. It's a dim reflection. It's like the sun, but in the horizon. It's not the full rays. But still, that experience is enough that makes you want to give up everything for Krishna, or it could. What to speak of bhava? What to speak of bhava? And bhava is prem ankur. It's just a sprout. It's not the full flower. What to speak of prema? So this is some glimpse of God's pleasure, potency, his mood of bhakti, which through the Guru Parampara somehow seeps into this world, and what keeps us going. And I maybe I told you this image once before. I think I was in my 40s or something, and I'm in Vrindavan, and I'm 40 years old, and I'm still sharing a bathroom with like 50 people. And there's no heat, and there's no hot water, and it's the middle of the winter. And I'm at the sink brushing my teeth, and Borijan's there brushing his teeth. We have gumshoes on, and to keep warm, a gumshoe around our... And I was just thinking, and I told this before, like, wow, Borijan's so bright. He could have been a distinguished professor. Now he's sharing a bathroom with 50 people. No heat, no hot water. And I look at me, I don't know. Maybe I could have been a philosophy professor, but maybe I could have been a lawyer. And in my mind, it's an old Laurel and Hardy that's brushing my teeth. I think I turned to him, I said, this is another fine mess you got me into. Yeah, I don't know if you know that humor. But the Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed, just a seed of that, which is not even bhava, which is just prem ankur. So just passing, and she says, even you don't understand Padmavati. You say that it's child labor. You don't know how much they love him. Even for a second, they can't miss him. Vrajasthitanam taur evakala ratriya bhaved eka lavo yugam cha. So, Ravim Rajo Vartma Chapasyatam Mahur Dasha. Let's say Dasha. Dasha Chakachin Mulilim Chashinvatam. For those who live in Braja, daytime is like the black night at the end of the universe, and the blink of an eye a millennium. In such a state, they look at the sun and trails of dust on the road again and again and listen for the sound of the flute. Krishna leaves for the forest. The residents of Vrindavan become despondent. When he comes back from the forest, the trees shed their leaves, weeping in separation from Krishna. So the embankment of separation, this prema is like a river, which needs two embankments to flow strongly, separation and union. So it goes, you're with Krishna, you're not with Krishna, you're with Krishna, you're not with Krishna. And that river just flows. They look at the sun. So she's saying, no, Padmavati. Every day Krishna takes his older brother with him and goes out to the various forests, eager to enjoy with his herds of cows and wander about in the company of his many friends. In these forests are lakes of sparkling water, where Kamala and Utpala lotus spread their fragrance. The lotus tremble from the movements of swarming bees, stirred up by rows of excited water breeds. So everything, the visual, the sensual, the auditory, it's all described in Vrindavan. It's all moving by the internal potency. It's all, I love Krishna and I love everything, because Krishna is everything. So this universal love is just expressed, even if a flower offering to Krishna, which is offering to everything. And Krishna picks every flower that's offered and smells the fragrance of each flower and watches it with appreciation as the lotus is a trembling from the swarming of bees. And they're stirred up by rows of excited birds. And it's all, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Because that's the intention behind everything. And that's what Krishna feels. And that's what the devotees feel when they see Vrindavan. And in those forests flows the river Jamuna, the dearmost companion of the land of Vraja. The picturesque splendor of that river, the daughter of Kalindi, astonishes the mind, and besides her, Vrajabhumi glistens with other rivers, the offsprings of the hills like the Vindhyas. Kalindi, Jamuna, Kalindi, Kalinda, daughter of Kalindi, the Jamuna. Mascharya, most amazing, Vichittratamayi, whose multifold splendor, the multifold splendor astonishes. Mahā-ascharya, it's mahā-ascharya, great, amazing, the splendor of the Jamuna. The beautiful shores of those rivers are always heaped with soft sands and covered by newly grown grass. To those shores came many different types of charming animals and birds, who put their natural enmity aside. By the way, there's a group in Rajasthan, my friend visited it. I forgot what they're called, but their guru became the ultimate environmentalists. And somehow they bought these huge stretch of land where they took care of the animals. And my friend was just amazed going there that all the animals are somehow existing almost without enmity. Trees, again, trees grow, they have flowers, they bend down and offer to the lotus feet of Krishna. They're stately, but they're humble. So the stately become humble before Krishna. Vines and creepers further decorate the shores, bowing down with the weight of splendid flowers, fruits, and leaves, offering to Krishna, offering. The shores resound with the calls of maddened peacocks and cuckoos, and those shores receive praise even from Lord Brahma. Ultimate praise is love and the expressions of love, which indicate that love. Vrindavan Forest, Govardhan Hill, and the whole area of Vraja are free from violence and theft, so one need not bother to watch one's cows. The cows simply go out into the forests in the morning with other domestic animals like the buffaloes, eat grass and drink water as they like, and then in the evening come home. Now, Padmavati, so somehow she's the character in the Leela that inspires the glorification of Krishna by expressing, and the residents of Vrindavan by expressing her envy of them. And naturally, out of love comes anger. Actually, anger can be an expression of love when that anger, when that anger is upset with those who denigrate or harm the object of one's love. So spiritual world, anger, so she inspires the Leela. Padma say, you child, you are too free with your words. So she's chastising Rohini. If what you say is true, then why do we hear that the cows and other animals are now in danger of dying because no one is taking care of them? Purport. Actually, the cows, bulls, and calves of Vraja need no caretaker. Rather, they need Krishna. They suffered not from material neglect, but from the ecstasy of separation, vipralambha bhava. They appeared in danger of dying, but even that appearance was false, because vipralambha bhava is a cause not of death, but of the highest perfection of life, achieved only by the most intelligent and competent of those who practice spiritual disciplines. The cows of Vraja, with in fact not dumb, helpless creatures they seem. Padmavati, however, is usually following her strange style of logic to prove her own understanding of Krishna. They're dying, but that's her. She's against, but it's a glorification because they're dying of vipralambha, separation. So the ultimate attachment is the ultimate love when the object of that attachment is gone. And that love is expressed in the great pain of separation, which in the spiritual world is beyond duality because it's a realm that moves by different laws, and somehow in that great pain and love of Krishna, you're with Krishna because our separation is only consciousness. And therefore I heard recently, I don't know where it is, that in the spiritual world, there are activities that happen for the first time, although they're eternally existing. Tadejati, tadnaijati, taddure, tadvantike, tarantarasya sarvasya, taru sarvasya bhayata. God walks and he does not walk. He's near and he's far away at the same time. So this is the inconceivable nature of Krishna. Now, Krishna is listening to all this. And now the story will focus on Krishna's heart in terms of that aspect of the mercy of the residents of Vraja. The greatest mercy in love is to be able to enter the heart of your beloved. And I remember when Prabhupada came to Vrindavan for the last time to pass away from this world, we greeted him and he sat in a chair. He couldn't sit cross-legged. There was only 20 of us in the room, maybe. And then he started to speak about Jayananda, who passed away. And I remember Prabhupada with such feeling, he said, he helped me so much. because he donated $5,000 at the beginning to print the Nectar of Devotion. And he was different because he just wasn't a hippie. He just was more sober and responsible, and just gave his life to Prabhupada. And by his service, he entered into Prabhupada's heart. And I saw that. Boy, this person's in Prabhupada's heart. Now, how's that mercy? So now we get to see Krishna's heart. Having heard all this, the blessed Gopal felt overwrought with worry for his devotees. Scorching anxiety dried up his lotus face. He was filled with dread. He glanced at the face of Baladev, who knew all the tidings of Vraja, both past and present, and saw that it was covered with tears. So by looking, so he saw that Balaram was just also devastated. Rohini Nandano Bharatur Bhavam Buddha Smaran Vrajam Swadharya Rakshana Shakta Parodhanabhabrit Sputam. Baladev, the son of Rohini, was unable to keep his composure. Remembering Vraja and understanding his brother's mood, he began crying without control, but then he managed to speak distinctly. So you have to, these are exalted personalities. So exalted, like Prabhupada said, Krishna is responsive. So he feels. He's not impersonal. When you're impersonal, you don't feel. God is personal. So Krishna feels. So he feels for and everyone's feeling. So Balaram's now feeling for Krishna who's suffering. He's feeling for the Vṛkṣādibhis who's suffering. So why shouldn't this beautiful aspect of love that we appreciate here, even in this world, of sensitive people who feel for others, why should that not be there in the absolute reality? As this world's just a reflection of that. Shri Baladev Uvacha Gavam Keva Kata Krishna Te Te Bhavata Priya Mriga Vihanga Pandira Kadambhadyas Chapadapa. Shri Baladev said, "Why speak only about the cows, dear Krishna? All the animals in Vraja are your beloved friends, and so also are the birds, and the trees like the Bandira and the Kadamba. So everything in Vrindavan is love. It's the land of love." The example I give many, many times is how the wind is described in Vrindavan as not just blowing haphazardly, but loving intentionally. So even the different trees and the dust and so many things Latani kunja punjani sadvalan yapi jivanam bhavat yeva prayamashu shinascha sarito jaya. The grass, the creepers, the lush bushes have all dedicated their lives to you. Now they are all wasting away, and so too are the rivers and mountains. Purport: the agony of Vṛkṣādibhis, the forest deer and the other wild animals of Vraj have become emaciated, And so had the birds like the peacocks, and even the inanimate rivers like the Jamuna, and mountains like Govardhan. If these residents of Vraja were on the verge of death, then what to speak of the cows, bulls, and calves Lord Krishna used to herd? I guess there's almost no comment, you just have to feel it, but I probably make a comment anyway and just repeat what I have to say. There's such deep love. Our conception of reality is Rasa Vai Saha. It is the land of love. And if we make any judgment of what God should be, or what the ultimate reality should be, based on what we see in the world, what's good is love. And if there's a God, he should be the embodiment of love. And this is what's being described. Manushya katichat bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta param te satyavakyataha jatash shayaiva jivanti necha shrotum mataparam. Some of the people, dear brother, live only on the hope of that your promises was true. Better not to hear more news than this. So if I go back now and say again, I will come again, after I said that once in relationship to Nanda Maharaj, and again with Uddhava, and then again, I think with Balaram, they have that hope. But if you go again, you may destroy that hope. It may lack such credibility because you promised and you promised and you promised. And they're living on that hope. And we see that, such tragedies that someone loses a child. I saw one thing about something in maybe Japan or something, that a father lost his daughter or something, I don't know. And he the rest of, like, for 30 years, he rode on a bicycle with a sign and his daughter's pictures, handing out pamphlets. And then somehow or other, he found her. But you can imagine, without that hope, he would die. This is another, I remember when Ayendra passed away and Ram Roy came to me. He had such deep affection for Ayendra that he was dying, actually. He's breaking down. But we have the hope that in the order of the teacher, the Vani of the teacher is still there. He reasons ill who Vaishnavas die, for Vaishnavas die to live, and living spread the holy name around. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We have that kind of hope. We have hope in terms of the eternal, rejoining again on the eternal platform. That's our hope. But there has to be hope, otherwise one can't live. And, I know stories. I know when my grandfather died, then my grandmother died soon after. And I know another person in my family, my mother's brother, when his father-in-law died, the mother-in-law died. Sometimes you're living by hope. Sometimes you have to say to a person who's dying, you can go now. I love you. You can go now. You may leave now. Some hope that I will live, some hope. So, purport, this statement has a sober implication that many residents of Vraja no longer that many residents of Vraja no longer able to tolerate separation from Krishna have already left their bodies. In their own sarupas, they had gone to join Krishna in his pastimes in Dwaraka or elsewhere. Others kept themselves alive in Vraja, sustaining themselves by remembering Krishna and transcendentally perceiving his eternal, unmanifest pastimes. More than once, Krishna has promised the Vrajavasis he would return to them soon. Therefore, some of them continued to expect him, even others had lost all hope. Lord Balaram asked Krishna not to inquire further into the news of Vraja. It would be too painful for the devotees present to hear. I can only tell you that if you don't show your kindness to them soon, Yamaraj will soon show them his. That you rid Kaliya's lake of its poison has only greatened their misery. And please hear of still other reasons for their sorrow. So why are they unhappy that he removed the poison from the Kaliya lake? Because the poison was there, they would die. And that's what love means. In your without you, I have no life. That the pain of dying is less than the pain of living. Jivatum navahaitum tva. You don't deserve to live, because the pain of living. So it's kind of this transcendental suicidal thoughts coming. Purport. The Vrajavasis would consider quick death a merciful relief from their distress because of Krishna committing suicide merely by entering Kaliya's poisonous lake was no longer possible, and this made them all the more frustrated. Other means of escape from their misery were now also gone, as the next verse relates. So we'll continue from text 120 on Sunday. Okay. Jamuna Jaya, are you there someplace in Chile?
I am. I'm in a plane in Chile about to go to Uruguay. So I'm just about to. You're about
Where are
to
you?
tell
Where are
to
you?
turn the phones up. I'm in a plane in Chile about to go to Uruguay.
Parivajikacharya, amazing.
Next stop. There were so many wonderful things about class, but I really love the simplicity and the depth of Krishna feels. Sometimes I forget that, when I'm not chanting nicely, when I'm, being neglectful, he feels that. And I love that this whole section was so much about love and passion, and Krishna feels, like you said, is responsive. So that there were so many good things, but that really struck me this morning.
Okay, now you're going to Uruguay to do more shows, right? Is that your last
Yeah.
stop?
No, and then I'll go to Argentina. Unfortunately, I will be too far away from Himalayan Radha to connect. We tried to think about connecting, but I'll be too far away from them. But there is a temple there, so I will go there.
Oh,
Yeah, so I have
I wonder
another
if
8 days.
I wonder, you weren't at New York Rath Yatra. Oh, you are. I met you there.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
You didn't meet Murti, my god sister.
No, is she in Argentina?
Yeah, she's in Buenos Aires. You can write Kaveri. Maybe you can pay respects to her.
Oh, yes, I would love to do that. I'll write
You,
Kaveri.
you saw the
Yes,
picture on my WhatsApp?
yes. Oh, that's her.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, right. I
She may
will.
still be with Kaveri, but maybe she flew back. Okay, Gail, koi
Hi,
prashna?
yeah, just I didn't catch one point just now. You were talking about the fact that it's more painful for the Brajvasis to live than to die. They had transcendentally suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
So I just missed how you connected that to the Kaliya pastime.
Yeah, because I think it was Rohini speaking and trying to explain, because Padmavati said that the Bṛhad-bhāsis, they just want to exploit Krishna. And then Rohini said, no, they love him so much that they're disappointed that Krishna killed the Kaliya serpent and took out the poison of the water, because
now they will live.
They'll live. Otherwise, they would have died. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks,
Okay.
Maharaj.
Anyone else like to say hello today quickly before we go?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thanks so much.
That last MMG came out real good.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah.
People really liked it. I get a lot of good feedback.
Wonderful.
I almost blew it, but that's another story. That's between me and you. Okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna, Gumaraj, Tota Gopinath here. Great to hear from you.
Haribo.
Haribo.
We'll see you next weekend. Haribo.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Hemala Tarada.
Krishna Kishore Maharaj, Hare Krishna.
Where are you?
For class.
In our home.
Oh, it's a different part of your home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Wonderful. Good to see both of you. Keep it up.
Twice.
Worshipping the deities, distributing prasad, chanting Hare Krishna, loving the devotees. So nice. Okay,
Thank you,
Haribo.
Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Jai Shri Radhe, Haribo.
Thank you so much for the class. I just wanted to tell you that it's amazing how Krishna's mercy is everywhere. He's all pervading and he's everywhere, and his mercy everywhere as well.
Yeah.
And your words today about the hope that keeps us living, and how we need to say, I love you, you can go to the ones who leave us or this world, is very relevant for me right now, and I'm very grateful for that right perspective.
Nice.
Because I really feel that way, actually.
Wow, thank you, Jai Shri Radhe. I will know by next Tuesday if I get my Russian visa, and then I'll decide whether I will go. I'm going to speak to someone in Russia I know, and then I'll let you know if I'll have that program, or when you're away, I'll have to postpone it. Okay. Haribo. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Very Sundri.
Ishwari, nice to see you. I'll see you in a few days, right?
Yes.
That's
Can't
great.
wait. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Good. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Gumaraj. It's Kishori Radha.
Hey, Kishori Radha. Hare Krishna. Haribo.
Haribo. Thank you for class.
Probably see you this Sunday, right?
Absolutely. See you then.
Okay. Haribo. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. This is Krishna-katha. Thank you so much for the class.
Oh, great. Thank you for coming on. Great. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Linda.
I'm Bṛhad. Thank you for class.
Hey, Haribo. Good to see you. We'll see you both on Sunday too, right?
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
Looking forward to it.
And then we're gearing up for the July 4th weekend. Should be really great.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be something too. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna, Gurudev. This is Yavat Sundari.
Who's that?
Thank you very much. Yavat Sundari.
Okay, Haribo, nice to see you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for the class.
Thank you. Okay, good. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. It's Ayani. Thank you so much for the class.
So, hey, I knew you'd like the classes. Thank you so much.
It was beautiful.
Great.
Thank you.
Wonderful. We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Great. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Thank you.
Kunja Sevika, Haribo. Good. Nice to see you. Haribo. Good.
Hare Krishna, it's Yvette Maharaj. Thank you for class.
Great.
I hope I should be seeing you Sunday as well.
Wonderful. Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to one? You haven't been to, okay.
I have not. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, great. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Shri Rupa, thank you for class.
Okay, we'll touch base on Saturday, right?
Yes, looking forward to it.
Me too. Okay. Anybody else?
Maharaj, can I come back real quick?
What's that?
Sorry.
Amala, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay, nice to see you. Good. Okay, Gail, you had one more question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Maharaj. Unlike Jaishiwade, I really didn't get that part where you said that, when a person connected with hope, right? And the one who is leaving their body, and the loved one says, you can go now. So how is that?
I don't know. I've sometimes see that, there's the mind is connected to the body. So sometimes at the very end of one's life, the only thing that's holding the body by the thread is the mind. There's a mind-body connection. And when one lets that go, then he can go.
Yeah, but how is that connected to hope? The fact that we can't live without hope.
Well, his hope is to live. And then he gave up all hope.
Okay.
Give me a break. I'm creative, It's kind of connected.
Okay, Maharaj, I gotta think about it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hi.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Hari Bol. Thank you for
Arman, nice to see you. Hare Krishna.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Good. Very good.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Good. Hari Bol. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. It's Dan in Philadelphia.
Hey, Dan. Okay, Hari Bol.
I just wanted to extra for the Monday morning greeting this week. It really is what I needed to hear. It was spot on. Thank you.
Which one was that? The Metro Mantra Sanga?
The one about community, yeah, and just chanting Hare Krishna and with people that you like. And
it's so important, right?
Very important, yes. Thank you.
And in that regard, we'll probably see you in the July 4th weekend at least, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. It's going to be wonderful. Okay, very well. Anybody else? Say hello. Okay. I'm looking at all the names so I can see everybody who's there and thanking everybody who's there, and I will leave. Vancha Kalpatra.